All right, now can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. I was talking, but there was no sound coming through. So please let me know if there's issues with the stream. I'm still tweaking some of the settings here. Got everything tweaked. As I was saying, this is the Broken Token Organizer. I got my D&D supplies behind me, board games over here. I started painting minis back in 2019 for the first time. Today we'll be painting a Froghemoth, which you can see right here. Well, oh man, hate when that happens. We will be painting this bad boy. Let me get him set up in the thing. So, hello, if anybody pops in, please pop in the chat and let me know you're here. We will be painting the Froghemoth. As you can see here, we will be painting him. As with anything, the more time you do something, the better you become. When I first started painting minis, I wasn't that good. I started with very small dwarves, and they looked like crap, I'm going to be honest. But I started painting like weekly. Yes, I can hear you now. I thought I was going crazy. No, Lydia, it was me. I did not realize my mic was not connected. Something happened with the sound again. It got turned over to an input that was turned off. But yeah, I was painting many creatures every week. So I started getting better and better. Even had a buddy of mine, Kyle. Hi, Kyle, if you happen to watch this. Had me paint a mini for him. It was awesome. It was my first commission, quote unquote. But as you can see, like here is a troll I did. It was one of my first bigger creatures I did because it was simple. You know, not a lot of detail to them. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube for how to paint. Still working my way through it. Sound is good, Heathen. Thank you. But my two most recent ones, which I did paint for my campaign the end of last year. We had a cavern troll. You know, really basic, simple color scheme. Couple different color stones. Nice red eyes. I don't know if you can pick up the red eyes there. Teeth. One of my favorite things are the washes you do at the end to bring out the shadows and the depth. And here is a Bahir I painted. He's got the blue teeth, the lightning blue, white teeth, and the white eyes, and the blue mouth. Different color underbelly. You can see some of the shadow picked up, of the scales. I don't know if it's picking it up or not. I don't know if this camera would be any better. No. Hey, Wobble, welcome. Welcome to Wobble. I just showed some of my minis I had painted before. And like I said, today we're starting with the Froghemoth. I do use army paint from... Maybe I can see the red eyes. I'm the one who picks up the beads at school. Nice. I use army paint, war paints, and Vallejo. There's a couple different color options. Nice overlay. Thank you. I tweaked some after the last live stream. As you can see, be sure to check out my description when this video is done. I will put links to Only Crits and W in my codes. Meso crits for them, and W it's a mimic. Get 10% off each. So without further ado, let's take a look here. I decided to go with, I've got a dark stone for the base of the Froghemoth. Let me see here. You can see he's got a base here. Then the Froghemoth itself is basically a couple colors green, a couple colors of green, white, and red. So the top part of his body will be one of two colors. I haven't decided which one to go with yet, so we'll have to see. So I've got an elf green and an angel green. I also have a lighter army green, which might work out well for the eyes. I'm going to see what this angel green looks like once we put it on the mini. I may not like it. It may be too bright, so I may go with the elf green for a body, so we'll see. What is great is the paints. As long as you keep them cool, they pretty much last forever. I like frogs. Yes, Lydia. My campaign faced the Froghemoth, and he had a bunch of bullywugs around him. So it was a cool campaign. The Froghemoth actually swallowed the monk, leaning monk, and they now have the Froghemoth's eyes are now in the possession of the party. As I was saying, the paints last forever. If you don't use them for a while, do what I did today, is shake them up really well, then take a toothpick and just stir to get all that paint back in. I reached out a couple of years ago after we had the flood in this basement, and my paint sat in the garage for a year before I was able to use it. And they were only a couple of years old as it was. So I reached out to army painters, like, yeah, just take a toothpick to them. It should be good. So it's something good to know. Frogs and moths, yeah, they go together. Moth creature would be kind of interesting to create. May just have to do that. Thank you, Lydia. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, I took the WizKids Mini, so it's already primed. I don't need to have a frog hoodie. Nice. It's already primed, so I don't have to do that, which is awesome. I like the Reaper Minis are good. They're cheaper, but they're unprimed, so you got to take the time to prime them. So I like the WizKid Minis. I have a Citadel holder. It's really well for the minis. This is for the bigger minis, and I have two for the smaller. You see the size difference there. They expand out to hold the creatures on their bases. See, it opens up. The small ones are good for humanoids, anything medium. This larger one is good for huge creatures. Anything bigger than this, though, and you're holding onto the base and getting paint on your hands, but it's worth it. I also have a set of magnifiers that do have a light on it. You see, it's got the light, so I can see. I also have a high fluorescent light over here. These magnifiers are from Yato Sun. I got them off of Amazon. I will put the link in the description. They are really good. They come with multiple magnification levels, going up to the biggest, which is the default one I have on the glasses now. As you can see, nice and thick, because as I've gotten older, 5 years ago, I didn't need to use magnifiers. I can see the finest detail, but welcome to being old now. So, what I like to do is I like to start with the smaller detail of the mouth and the tongue and work my way out, because the white teeth come in. I'll paint those after I paint the red. It's a little bit easier to go over the red. And for the red, I have a Vallejo straight up red that I'm going to be using. I do have some other reds. I have this dragon red, but it's a little bit too red. I wanted more of the darker purple crimson red. You know, I do have a glistening blood one, but it's a little bit too purple for me. A little more on the purple side. So I'm going to see how this red does. So I'm going to be painting the mouth and the tongue this color. And if you notice, the tongue also has, like a displacer beast, it has little grabbers on there. I'm going to just paint those red instead of trying to paint those white. I think because it's in the mouth, it'll come out that color. And if we look at the picture here, the teeth are the same color. I like to have multiple magnification levels. Yes, Wobble, it is great for people like me that need multiple levels. Sometimes the only downside to these Citadel holders is sometimes they twist and they pop the mini off. So I end up with purple hands trying to grab the mini before it hits the floor. You may have mentioned this already, but was this mini already primed? Yes, it was. These are the WizKid minis, which are primed. See right there, primed. I do prefer them. They're a little bit more expensive than the Reaper minis. I find these to be a little bit better quality. Reaper is good for metal minis, are awesome, but the WizKid minis for the price and the prime, I'll take it. They're just, and they're a little bit better quality. Reaper sometimes are a little too flexible, so they get bent and they don't unbend even under heat. So let's get started with the mouth. So I'm going to shake up that red again. I have many brushes. Get good brushes. They are worth the money to buy a good set of brushes. The cheaper the brush, the faster it's going to disappear on you as you're using it. It's just going to eventually wear away. Lydia, I took art class at school, so I'm going to mix a bit of dark red to the purple to make a pretty shade of red purple. Yes, that is where this red has a little bit of the purple shine to it. Yeah, I have a few WizKids and Reaper Minis, totally agree in quality. Excellent. But thank you for the tip, Lydia. Yes, mixing some of the colors. Army Painter has a wide range of colors. They have, let me see, do I have the sheet here? See, I love these broken token organizers because I can pull, I have drawers where I keep all my stuff. Oh, here we go. Like, here is the color palette, a basic color palette from Army Painter. So I've got this basic set and it has a wide range of colors. There's still certain shades that, yes, Lydia, you do mix them together and you can come out top. There is a technique with a wet palette. I have not tried that yet. I use just a regular old plastic palette, paper towel, and a little bowl of water down here. I don't know if you guys can't see it on camera. My friends do use the wet palette, and it keeps the paint wetter, so they last a bit longer. But I tend to paint a little bit quicker. I may try the wet palette at some point. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Just make sure it wasn't anything new. So let's get started. So I'm going to shake up the red. This is going to be a little bit tight in the mouth. Little tip, don't put out more paint than what you need. I tend to come back and do 2 coats. And I keep my paint organized and separated. So for the mouth, it's a little bit thinner. I think, oh, I'm going to pick this one here. It has a little bit bigger brush because I do need to get to the roof of the mouth and the tongue and along the gum line. For the gum line, I will probably use a thinner brush so I don't mess with the teeth too much. So you just make sure you have a good amount of, make sure, just like painting anything, you want to have paint on the brush but not too much. You don't want to slop it on there. And then let's just see what I can do here. And then you just kind of work the paint in. The inside of the mouth, I don't have to pay attention hitting the back of the tongue too bad, the back of the teeth. And then you just try to avoid the front of the teeth with the brush. And this is what the good thing about the Citadel holders are, is I can change my angle to get a better angle at what I'm trying to get. And there I got a little bit of red on the teeth. That's alright, the white will cover it. So how's this picture for you guys? Is this working in terms of seeing what I'm doing? How is the quality of the video and the sound? I had issues the other day, but I watched a couple more videos and I think I tweaked it enough. Hello, if you're new, pop your name, pop a hello into the chat. Let me know you're here. Ask any questions along the way. D&D, board games, painting, anything. Yeah, we can see you great. Yep, looks great. Thank you. Video quality sound. Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate the feedback. I am always looking for feedback. Now this gets a little funky. I got to turn it upside down here so I can get to being right-handed, and I'm not really ambidextrous anymore. I need to get into the little crooks and crannies. A lot of these minis have little spots that you don't notice until you think you're done with the paint.
and there's a big glaring white spot. Basically, when I paint, it's a couple stages. It is two coats of everything. Once that's done, I'll do a wash to bring out the shadows, and then I'll do a little dry brushing to hit the highlights. Looks awesome. The sound is great. Thank you, Lydia. So this is a process. I don't know what we'll get through today, because for the shadow, for the shade, and the dry brushing, see, there we go, popped off. But I think right now it might be better if I just hold the mini. You want wet paint, you want dry paint, because you're going to be rubbing all over the mini, so any wet paint will cause issues. So as you can see, I probably should switch to a thinner brush, but I'm hitting this well, and see right there, there's a little thin line right there. You got to really twist and turn. I think this red is going to work out nice. It's going to be, and I will hit the tongue in the mouth with a red wash, which will darken the red, so it will look really good. It will fill in the little gap in the tongue right here, this little line. So you just put everything on nice and smooth. Keep turning the mini, because you will see different angles. And different angles will get you those little tiny things that you might have missed. So I'm not, oh, there we go, see, there's a line right there, and I gotta get down here. So, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little white line right next to the tongue right there. So how's everybody doing today? How you feeling, Wobble? Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, if you're new, pop a hello into the chat. Say hello, ask any questions you want. We are painting a Froghemoth today. My first mini I'm painting in about a year. There we go. So let's see. Let's go to the bottom of the tongue here. I'm waiting on my groceries to get here, so I'm getting that before my stream tonight. Awesome. What are you streaming tonight, Wobble? Let everybody know. And if you're new and you don't know Wobble Rocket, go check them out on Blue Sky. Look for Wobble Rocket. They stream old school video games, Minecraft. They're building old school D&D dungeons in Minecraft. Go check them out. Froghemoths are great to run. They are easy to hit, only having a 14 AC. They have roughly 160 hit points. So you think you can throw them against a low-level party, but you don't want to do that. G.I. Joe for the NES. Nice, Wobble. Good luck with that. Chipmunk recommended it. Awesome. As I was saying, Froghemoths have a plus 10 to hit with multi-attack. And if they hit with one of their tendrils, if the creature's medium or smaller, they are automatically swallowed. So there's no save. You can easily swallow humanoids with a Froghemoth, and it can hold up to 2 in its belly at a time, and you take damage. But if you do more than 20 points of damage in one round, it costs them back up. So it's one of those easily swallowed, easily escaped creatures. Listen, I paired it with a bunch of bullywugs in a pond. There was a rumor that there was a large creature terrorizing the people that came to the pond. So Duke Draymore, I talked about him in my last stream, my favorite NPC. The party had asked for a list of bounties or something to prove their worth to the princess.
And Duke Draymore basically took the biggest bounties that had been waiting to be resolved because he knew they would be dangerous, and he tried to kill the party with them. Well, that did not work, of course. But, oh, sorry, I'm disappearing off the camera here. Got to remember to stay in line with the camera so you guys can see. So we got just a little bit left in the tongue. You see, I don't know if you can see it. See that right there? There is a spot right there that I have to get. And it's just a matter of angling the mini in such a way to see all the gray. So I will review the mini really quick, turning it around, trying to get different angles. Oh, there's some in the mouth I missed. So I'm going to have to flip this around. First published in '83. Yes. Froghemoths are one of those iconic monsters that have been around since first edition. Yes, they have. There's nothing better than a big old frog monster that you can stick in a pond or a lake that are fun for a party to fight because they're big and you can easily hit them with the 14 AC. And it makes it fun because danger is on the table when it can swallow you automatically. And I just kicked my thing. Sorry about that. I'm trying to keep small little area here. I need a better setup, but unfortunately I don't have a lot of space. So, looking at this, it looks like the mouth and tongue are done for now. I'm going to rinse off this brush. I need a finer brush to get the... Oh, let me set that down. Let me clean up this brush. I need a finer brush to get the gum line. Sorry, excuse me. To get the gum line and the place where the mouth opens. Alright, I think my brush is good. Put that back. Let me grab a finer tipped brush. So see, this one's got a little bit finer tip on it. Excuse me while I just get a sip of water here. Welcome to anybody new who popped in and joined us. If you want to, please pop a hello in chat so I can see you. Lydia likes food. Yes, so do I, Lydia. So do I. So now I'm going to use the same color red and make sure there's not a lot of paint on my brush. And then I'm going to go where the gum line is and just hit that. Trying to avoid the lips because those will be green. Just hitting this gum line. Happy little gum line. It's just like Bob Ross. And like I said, this will turn a little bit darker because, oh, got a tooth. That's all right. Because I'll hit it with that red wash, which just basically is a darker, it's a red color, but it's a little bit more liquidy, so it fills in the, let's see, here we go, red tone. What this does is it fills in the gaps and it darkens everything. So I'll use that at the end. Never played G.I. Joe in this. I'm going to need to check it out tonight. Yes, as usual, Wobble, I will do my best to check it, well, live. A little hard, but, oh. And it's alright if you go outside the lines, right? It's alright to go color outside the lines. Because even if that gum line isn't perfect, the green that we'll do later, and the red that the white we're going to do, will cover up most of it. So I'm just hitting this to hit these little tiny gum lines right along the mouth, right? I will fix that up later when I do the paint. When I do the green paint. Making sure everybody can still hear me when I turn around from the camera. I don't mean to be away from the camera. So let me try to make sure. So in here, we got the thin little gum line right above the teeth. So we just hit that with some of this red. Like I said, a little bit of red if it bleeds down onto the mini is fine because we'll cover it with the white, or it'll look really good if there's a little hint of red in the teeth, you know, like it just got done eating something. You know, you just keep turning the mini and trying to do the best you can to follow the detail you want to follow. I'm not using my things. Now, the thing with these, you guys can see that, okay. With these magnifiers is depth perception gets a little off. You know what? I was doing better without these on. I have my readers on instead, so I don't need the magnification. If you are going to start painting minis, I recommend you start with a bigger creature. Yeah, see, I'm messing up the teeth, but I'll fix that later on. Not a big deal. Just get a little bit of red here where the mouth joins. A little bit of red here where the mouth joins, and we'll just figure that out with the green later on. So then you go back and you look and you make sure you're getting the lines. That you are getting the fine little details. Which I want a little bit more of the upper lip, the bottom of the lip right here. And along the side there. So like I said, I'll cover up the mistakes with the red, with the green later. So for now, that looks like a pretty good color red for the mouth. Let me clean up this brush. I'm going to use the same brush on the white to do the teeth. Now, for the white, you have, Army Painter has several options. You have matte white, which is your basic white. You have mummy robes, which is a little bit yellowed, or skeleton bone, which is yellowed as well. For this creature, it's not going to have bright white teeth. It's not an actress. It's not an actor. It's not trying to bleach her teeth, right? So it's got to be a little bit yellowed. So I'm going to paint it with the skeleton bone. I've got an ogre that I need to finish painting. He mostly just needs the boots and base done. Oh, very cool wobble. Lydia, wherever I would color and the color would get outside of the line, my friend would laugh like you just committed the crime. Yes, you want to try and stay inside the line as best you can. But you can also go back over it. As long as it's a darker color, you can cover it up. The best thing about these paints are, even the whites, they're thicker acrylic paint. So they're water-based acrylic paint, so they will cover up. As long as that color is dry, it may take a couple coats, but I do 2 coats on anything. So, yes, the better within the lines you stay, the better it is. However, you can cover up mistakes. Creatures like this, you're not going to be noticing the little details at the table. I'm not painting professionally. I'm not selling the minis. So, little things being off is fine. So, let's see what this skeleton bone looks like. Just need a little bit. Like I said, so this will come out more like a yellowish white. So, same brush, little dabs. So I'm just going to hit the teeth. With this white, or skeleton bone rather. And I'm just doing the outside. I'm not worrying about the inside of the mouth. So you can just hit each tooth. I got a tooth there that I cover with red, but now you see it's perfectly fine. Now for these, I'm trying to not hit that gum line. Trying not to hit that gum line because I don't want to paint it again, because then I may have to touch up the white and it becomes a vicious circle. So you do want to try your best to stay inside the lines of the detail you want. So it gives it more of a yellowed teeth look. creature look rather than somebody's been brushing their teeth every day and flossing. Betting 4 out of 5 Froghemoths do not agree that crest is the best, you know. So you just hit the teeth and a little gap there. Sure, you guys still seeing this? Everything's still good? Appreciate everybody coming up. If you are new, I don't know if anybody new's popped in, pop a hello into the chat. Thank you. You're currently watching me paint a Froghemoth. Working on did the mouth already. Working on the teeth right now. Looking good from what I can tell here. Moving on over to the left side. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Everybody's feeling good. Let's see, over here I really painted over the teeth without realizing it. At the bottom, so I'm going to fix that here in a second. So it just gets smaller and smaller as the teeth go back. And see here, but because I know the shape of the teeth, I can just hit them to where they look okay. Oh, see, I got a little bit of white in the mouth. I will fix that on the second coat. Not a big problem. When the white popped into the back of the mouth right there, I'll cover it up later with the second coat of red. So I think, oh, that one tooth there, that front tooth, needs a little bit more because it got really red. There we go. So that is the mouth. So we got the tentacle with the teeth, right? We got the mouth and the teeth all the way around. Next up, I'm going to work on the eyes. Now the eyes are going to be a light green. Give me a second to get a drink here. Wobble Rocket, I was watching your latest clip with the bear getting into your bird feeder. He's really gotten bold, hasn't he? That boy is probably about 400 pounds. You know, I'm 6'6", 300 and walked outside with a pan banging it, raised my arms. And he didn't flinch. I had an air horn, everything. He's not afraid of anything, which is scary because we have a lot of small dogs in the neighborhood. I did report him to the DEP. He's untagged. He's a big male, so it's a little bit scary when he's out there, but it's kind of cool, but it's also not good either. Chantel Jones, welcome. How you doing? How are you today? What's up, nerds? Yes, a bunch of nerds. Hello, hello. So you're watching me paint a Froghemoth. It's right here. We've done the mouth and the teeth. Sorry, I've got some kind of... The weather sucks here today. It's rainy and nasty. The bear thinks he's a dog. Pretty much. So... let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to go with the lightest green I have, which is this army green. I think that's going to work well for the eyes. Gotta shake, shake, shake. I'm doing good. And you? If anybody's new and not talking in chat, be sure to check out Blue Sky. Chantel's on Blue Sky, Wobble's on Blue Sky, Heathen's on, I believe Heathen's on Blue Sky, but we're all in the Wobble Rocket Discord. That was the last of us hot and sunny here today, though. Chantel, I'm not ashamed to be a nerd. Nope. Embrace nerdom. I was a nerd in the 80s when it was not good to be a nerd. We now rule the world. Just keep that in mind. Wobble, if you want to drop a link to the Discord in the chat, feel free, sir. Let all these new people see what we do. If you're new, pop a hello into the chat. Be active. Ask me any questions, D&D or otherwise. Mini painting, D&D, whiskey, board games, being old. I don't use social media. Okay, Ethan, I wasn't sure. Welcome anyways. I pretty much just use the Discord and then stuff from my channel, really. Everyone's got a blue sky, pretty much now. So, I've got this light green, hoping it's green. I've also got a other green I can try if it's not light enough. But I'm thinking this is going to be good for the eyeballs. So, never say to be ashamed of being there. Everybody here's on a blue sky, good. We do have some people popping in and out who might not be. So, oh yeah, this green will work well for the eyes, I think. I do, let me see about putting my magnifiers on. To paint the eyes. Oh, let me, so you can see, I've got the eyeballs. Their WizKid Mini detail is amazing. You do have the orbital socket around each eye. Trying to get the roundness. And I will be doing 2 coats. So we'll come back a little bit later and put the second coat on. I'm debating doing a little black eye line in here for the pupil. Painting eyes on minis can be hard because it is very easy to get them looking like they're all looking different directions. But for a creature like this with multiple eyes, looking different directions may actually be beneficial. Just like in a beholder, you don't need to have the eyes all pointing the same way because they're going to be looking different ways. So putting pupils on a beholder mini isn't too bad. But you can always paint over the pupil, especially when they're big eyeballs like this. Very easy to paint over the eyeball later and redo the pupil. Just like the teeth and the gums, trying to stay within the socket, but I will paint those a darker green a little bit later. We'll see how this dries. So, right now, those are the eyes. So they will get a second coat later, maybe a third coat if needed. So now, let that brush dry. Broken token holes. There we go. So, never say, be right back. I'll swap laundry and some more coffee. Good luck. Alright, so now I do believe I need to move to putting this back on the holder. Because now it's going to be painting the main green. So, everything on the top half of, see, it just pops off. Everything on the top half of the mini, like these, like along this line here, right, the top piece, will be the same color. The bottom, the under pieces, whoop, there we go. The under pieces of the tendrils will be a lighter green, and so will his belly. Can't get this guy to stay today. So, alright, let me get this darker green. Gotta shake this up. How's everybody doing? So if you're new, say hello. Ask any questions. D&D, minis.
But yeah, start off, if you're going to start painting, start with something bigger that has a little bit less intricate detail, so you can learn the brushwork, you can learn, get your depth perception. It's trying to attack, yes it is. There we go. Oh, that's a little thick. Oops, a little bit too much, but I need to use a lot of the green. So now for this one, so this one I have a nice flat brush. This one is good for, let me see if that angle will be better, yes. For painting the green, because it covers more area. So what I'm going to do, start at the back and just, oof, why is that not dark green at all? Okay, there we go. I'm not liking that green. Not liking that green at all. It's a little bit too green. I don't want that forest green. Let me clean my brush. And the best part is, these are water-based paints. So if you get to them quick enough, you can remove, see it's coming right off, you can remove most of the paint. Because that green was not a good green. Let's pick a different green. Let's get this guy back up and drying. So that green's going away. That was not I did not like that green. So let's go with the elf green. I think this might be the better green. Make sure it's all shaken up. All shook up. I think the holder isn't like the larger mini. It's got that weird tendrils sticking off the back here. You see the tentacles off the back? I found if minis aren't centered over their base in these Citadel holders, they tend to bounce out. Alright, this green might be better. Let's see if this green works better. This is elf green, like I said. So let's just go over the same area with this. This green might be better. Aha. I think that will be much better. So, for the bigger minis, you can just paint. Be sure to hit the crevices and the cracks and the under. Like I said, this will take 2 coats. I'm not worrying about the color right now. Shading will fix it too. It'll darken it up to the darkness I want. So like I said, top of the tentacle. So top of the tentacle gets this green. So follow the top of the tendril here, right? So this is the top. You see that dividing line? So I'm going to stick right along that line. Delineates the top of the body from the bottom. It's a little fine detail, but creatures in the wild have darker tops and lighter bottoms so that you don't see what you're looking at from below if you're a predator. Looks like lighter sky or lighter creatures. So it may not look perfect green yet, but I will do a second coat on this creature of this green. So what I'm doing is just trying to fill in along that top line and into the
armpit, so to speak, right? It will be better, I promise. It will look better as... Oh! Just a little bit of pressure and it pops right off. Magic. Yep. Why is my chat not... Why did it stop at that size window? Let's there we go. I had the wrong thing selected. That's why the chat stopped rolling. Alright. Hello, hello. Anybody who's still here watching? I'm gonna go ahead and grab the base of this mini here as I'm doing this, because it seems to be the main area where it's popping because of the pressure difference. We will get through both coats today. This won't take that long. I don't know if we're going to get to the washes today. I do have a fan on in here, so that should help. You know what? Let's just not use that for right now. Let's stick. Oh, cat hair. Gotta love when cat hair gets in the way of everything, right? Wobble, you know what I'm talking about. I'm here just working on some stuff on my other monitor. No worries. Just glad people are here and watching, and listening. I do appreciate it. We did hit 300 subs during the last live stream, which was great. One person came in, Alexandra. They asked a ton of great questions. It was fun, even though I had technical difficulties at the beginning. So, yeah, paint the frog butt. So just get in there and use whatever technique helps fill in the paint. Oh, there's a fly flying around in here. I need somebody to Mr. Miyagi this with a couple of chopsticks for me, please. So I'm trying to avoid the under parts of the tentacles, because those will be painted the light green that we did the eyes. Hello, Mr. Fly. I don't know if you guys can see this fly buzzing around. Am I still on camera? Yes, I am. This first coat is more about getting the base of the mini done. I find these WizKid minis only take 2 coats to really look really good. Sometimes 3 if the paint was a little thin for some reason. That's why I like the Army paint. Citadel's supposed to have some good paint too. Yeah, Alexandra was great. Yes, they were. Huge congrats on 300. Thank you. Now, if I can just get to 500 by the end of the month, I'll hit my goal for my 50th. That'd be awesome. Don't see it happening unless one of these live streams pops off. So, as you can see, you just go through and you paint the mini. Oh, let's finish up on this guy, on this tentacle going down here. Staying with the top of the tentacle, right? So this one kind of goes like that there. Right? A little bit. We'll fill that in later, whichever makes sense when we're painting the other side. The natural lines, the minis do have these lines that separate top from bottom. So they're perfect for following along. Now my second coat is where I will fine tune these lines like this, right? You just go through nice and slow, like you're edging. If you ever painted a broom in your house, go through nice and slow and get nice straight lines. I will fix that after the second coat, because that's when it's really going to matter, right? Because I still need to put another coat on, and I can see I was off a little bit over here. And this is where turning the mini multiple times really helps you find those angles, find those lines and angles and little nooks and crannies that you might have missed. Like this, I want to make this go, and there's a little, there we go. And I may have to do a quicker live stream, another one, for finishing the mini. We'll see how long that, if we can get to it today or not. So this first coat is more about filling in the mini. It doesn't have to be perfect. The brush strokes will disappear later. You'll see. You won't see the brush strokes. But this is what we got going so far. What I may do is remove the chat window. Let me know. Do you guys like the chat window in the stream, or would you prefer to see more of the picture? Let me know in the chat, because it doesn't seem to be rolling properly. I think I need to do some additional tweaking. Maybe I was watching some videos in OBS for using stream elements to pull this kind of stuff in, but you need overlays. This is just stuff I did in Canva, so it's a little bit free-formed. Hello, anybody who's new. Pop a quick hello into the chat. Let us know you are here. Ask any questions. We are painting a frog mini. We've got the mouth and the eyes done. We're currently working on the first pass of the body of the Froghemoth, which is, let's be honest, it's a lot of green. So, a lot of green. Try to use smooth strokes where you can. It will help the mini look better in the long run, but sometimes you just gotta wiggle the brush and hope for the best that you fill in the gaps. But that's where washes come in handy, because the washes will fill those gaps for you. So coming around to the mouth, right? You're coming up and around, so I want to make sure I get these lines and grooves filled in nice here. Got another tentacle coming up. So let's work our way up to the eye stalks. Okay, so we got these eye stalks. Remember, we painted the eyes themselves a lighter green. So, getting into the eye stalks here, painting under the eye stalks, then up and around. See, the details on these WizKids minis are so good. Look at the wrinkles around these eye stalks. Right? So you take your time, make sure they're all filled in. I'm sorry if stuff disappears off the picture here. I need a bigger overhead camera that zooms in a little bit better than my phone, you know. So once you get the outer pieces of the eye stalks fully done, make sure you tilt it up and get up and under. Turn the mini and come up and, I don't know if you guys can see. Oh. So I gotta turn it and get up and underneath in here. This is where you just try to use your brush, and like I said, we will go back over the eyeballs, so any of this darker green that hits it, we can fix it later. You can always go back and fix it. streamers' preferences on showing chat on screen. Some people like it, some don't. Right. As you as a viewer, do you like seeing the chat in the stream or not? I thought it would help me with seeing what you guys were saying, but it doesn't always help me because my eyes, I'm on a smaller laptop. I may have to get another screen so I can blow it up, make it bigger. So now we're going to do the rim around the eyeballs. So this takes just a steady hand. I don't have a steady hand, I have a natural shake. But this is where you can, if you take your time and using the right brush, I like this brush for this because even though it's bigger, it has a nice flat edge to it. So I can edge like I would painting a room in my house. I can edge and get to where you get that eye socket, the orbital rim, painted just by little lines. And like I said, we can make the eyeballs themselves, we can fix them and get them looking better later. So right now, this is what we got going on. So continuing with the green. Keep turning the mini. Make sure you catch anything that is gray. Angles and lighting are very important. You know what? I'm not really using those right now. I don't need the detail. Let me turn them off. I don't need the detail, the magnification. They're not helping me any. I'm using my readers. If you drop it, you'll have more screen real estate to use for the camera showing the miniature. That's what I'm thinking too, is I can read, alright, so what I'll do is I think I'll get rid of the chat in the stream for next time. I think that will, like you said, wobble. It frees up some more space. I can rearrange some stuff. I can get rid of the W's and the Laughing Taverns easily. So, painting around the mouth. So this is where we had the gum line. So we want to make sure, again, I anchor my hand on the table, trying to brace myself and giving myself a steady hand. And just like edging a house, you work your way up to it. And you try and stay like before. The more you stay straight, the less you have to cover over later. See, oh, see right there, I needed to hit that with some red later on. So, got that gum line done. Now we gotta move to the top of the mouth. And we fill in the back end here. So keep turning the mini. Get the mini in an angle that works best for you, for what you are trying to do. Right? So I'm trying to get down to the gum line and keep as straight of a line as I can. I love this one brush for this because of that reason. It has that nice sharp edge to it. So it works really well for edging along a gum line. Especially the top of this mini, because you're really going to be able to see the face of this mini. So I want to make sure that the lines on the face are straight lines. So, not looking too bad right now with just one coat. There's a lot of body on this Froghemoth. It is a huge miniature. It's considered huge, but it's not a problem. So, sorry, I keep moving the mini out of camera. I think I need to set the camera up a little bit higher. I need something that drops down more than this tripod drops down. It doesn't angle, it has a gooseneck to it, but it doesn't quite get the angles that I want. So continuing up, now we have the bottom of the mouth, right? So just like above, I want to follow that gum line and just edge it in nice. Right? Wow, that's not too shabby, I'll have to say so myself. Like I said, I have a natural shake. It's not bad like Towson Jaffe, if you've ever seen him. He has a condition. I forget what it's called, but he has a natural shake. Going under the tongue, you want to be careful you don't hit the bottom of the tongue with the green. Like I said, if you do, not a big deal. You fix it later in the second coat. But if you just edge it right along there, slow and steady, you definitely don't want to rush while painting. You want to take your time, especially when you're new. The more you do this, just like anything else in Dungeons and Dragons, the better you become. The more time behind the screen, the more time in front of the screen, the more time with a brush in your hand, the better you become. You know, I grew up watching The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, of course. Ooh, my camera is not charging. Why is this not charging? It should be charging. Well, that's gonna suck. This was fully charged. Well, that's gonna absolutely suck if we lose this camera. But what was I saying? Oh, I grew up watching The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. My grandparents would have it on when I would be over there. So anybody can paint. Really, anybody can. You don't need to be an artist to be able to paint. So what we may do is get my phone charging. If I can get this green finished. And we'll bounce to a quick Ask Me Anything while we are waiting for my phone to recharge, because I have no idea why it's not charging. It's supposed to be charging through the connection, and it's not. That is bugging me. Bob Ross was awesome. Yes, he was. So calm. So good. Former Air Force, just like I was. So now I'm trying to get around to the bottom of this guy. This is where it gets tight. This is where angles are really bad, because there's only so many ways you can move the mini to get to the feet. Right? To get to the butt, to get to the belly. I do have a stone color that I will be painting the bases on, the rock. So for right now, I'm not going to worry about touching that, because it will paint over that. Turning the mini. Always turning the mini. Always turning the mini. So let's get in here. Let's continue getting this tendril. Hello, anybody new? You're watching me, Rich the First Time DM, paint a Froghemoth. We got the mouth and the eye stalks done. We are working on the body, which is Froghemoth body. So, needless to say, it is massive and a lot of green. Best part too about the delineation between the upper and bottom portions is there's no such thing as a perfectly straight line, especially in nature. So if you don't paint that line straight and it's a little crooked where the two pieces, the darker color paint and the lighter color paint join, don't worry about it. There should be a little bit of a bow, a little bit of a wobble, to where it's not a perfectly straight line. As you can see, when the paint's drying, it's getting a little bit better. We'll cover up those brush marks. Still working on the feet here and underneath. Thankfully, he's a frog, does not have toenails, so I can just paint right down to the end. I said angles are everything when you're painting. I'm trying to get inside the mini here. So what I'm trying to do is keep a nice, as you can see there, see the white gaps? There's white right here. That's where turning the mini helps, because you'll see that you missed something there. So again, painting the top of this tendril, trying to come in as straight as possible, following the body, the line here. I'll fix that line here in a second. So this tendril wraps up and around. So this one will have the lighter color showing to everybody. See? So that's why I don't paint that. That's going to be the lighter green. Oh. Let me just try and straighten this up a little bit here. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. So now I gotta figure out how to get to the inside of this mini. Gotta get the bottom. What I like to do is just find a good open spot and just move your brush around and try to get different angles. Come down here, and sometimes you gotta come at it from different angles to get to the gaps. So I gotta get the back foot there, right? So it's hard to get to the back of the foot, but by turning the mini, angling it to where I can see the underneath, where the brush can go, and freely move around, you can get to almost everything. Now I need to get to the big front part here. So this shouldn't be as bad. So that's going to be the bottom of a tendril there. So that's going to have some white color. I painted too much green there by accident. I will fix that when we do the next color. Right. So you just keep turning the mini until you get to where you can see what you're trying to paint. Hey Dancer, what's up? Welcome, Dancer. Painting a Froghemoth here. Oh, I just painted green what I did not want to paint green. That was supposed to be the lighter color. Alright, not a problem. That will be fixed in when we paint the bottom. Hey, did I get everything? Oh, a couple spots. So again, just shove the brush in and try and get your best coverage. So I think everything's painted the dark green that we, oh, nope, missed part of the leg. Okay. So, see, I've got to get into the back there. So, you sometimes have to switch to a smaller brush to do it, but I was able to use this brush because the handles are thin. So I think the light green, the dark green, I mean, that's light green there. That should be light green. That should be dark green. Let's fix that line right here. Let's just fix this line, right? Let's fix it. I don't like the way it looks. Let's straighten that out. So, you know what? I don't like the color eyes. I think that's not going to be enough of a difference for the eyes, the underbelly. So, let me clean up my brush. I have another color that I could use. Let me get that brush out. I have a scaly hide, I think. I think scaly hide will work. Now, like I said, this paint has not been used in a while. So what I'm going to quickly do... Oh, actually, it didn't sit long enough to be worrisome. So, let's grab that. Try another brush. Let's paint the eyes another color. Let's go with this scaly hide. I think this is going to be a better contrast. Let's see. Yeah, now the eyes are popping. Now the eyes are popping. Now we got the eyes. I'll fix that dark green around the edge again later. But that lighter green, I think, works much better. Now we have the definite contrast between the dark and the light. So let's paint the underbelly, the bottom of the tendrils. Just you paint where you didn't paint before, and this is where you can fix. Yeah, I think that's going to work much better. You get the contrast. Goes along the line there, and same in here. Like I said, we can fix anything. Cover anything up. So I've got to get into this tight little gap here. Any color that's not supposed to be there will get covered up later. So I'm just working myself. Oops, see, I got a little bit of lighter. Oh, missed a spot there. I gotta make sure I get that with the second coat.
So turn the mini upside down allows me to get to this. So the smoother strokes you can do, the better it will look. And keep your lines straight. Sorry if I keep pulling this out of camera. Looking really good, Rich. Thank you, Wobble. So it's going to really start to pop when we do the second coat, because then we'll get rid of the brush lines. We'll get rid of the slip-ups. I like mini painting. Well, I was on my own after a life change a couple of years ago. I was in my apartment and I would turn on old episodes of Critical Role, have them on in the background, Campaign 1. I've watched Critical Role Campaign 1 in full 6 times. But I would turn it on in the background just to have a sound while I was painting. I found the attention to detail. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to kick the camera there. The attention to detail in painting gives me like a little Zen-like thing where, just like coloring, I like the color too, with crayons, gives me that peace. I just paint, forget about the world for a couple of hours, right? Sorry if I pulled it off camera again. I'm not used to having to make sure I keep something straight to where everybody else can see it, because it's not just for me, it's for you guys. I appreciate you watching me paint. Please, anybody got any questions about D&D, board games, whiskey, my life? I'm pretty much an open book. Just happy to have people watching. I appreciate it. You know, I started the channel a year ago not knowing really what would come of it. If anybody would be willing to listen to me talk and blabber on about D&D. So it's nice having people come and listen, ask great questions. Is this Froghemoth going to be used in one of your upcoming games? No, not this one. This party has already faced the Froghemoth once. Oh, why? They were early level. I had explained, you might have not been here. The Duke Draymore, the NPC that I mentioned in my last live stream, gave the party a bunch of bounties that he didn't want to deal with, to send his people to go deal with. So he sent the party, thinking that they would die. Because who's going to take on a large... The only thing they had was reports of a large creature near a well-known lake. So when they got there, it was a Froghemoth and several bullywugs. The Froghemoth ended up swallowing Zekrin, the Leonid monk. Okay, oops, overpainted that side a little bit. That's alright. I will pick that up when we do the dark color again. It was a good fight. The fight also included adding a new player that I had a bunch of goblins chasing. So a bunch of goblins chased the centaur into the fight. So there was goblins, there was bullywugs, and the Froghemoth in the middle. Missed some on the dark green. I'll have to catch that again when we do the dark.
But no, this is painting because it was a nice big mini. I haven't painted minis in 6 months, 8 months, so I wanted to start with something that had nice big detail to it. Not a lot of intricate detail besides the mouth. I want to paint more NPCs, but those are intricate, so I want to get the skills back before I move on to those. What did you use in place of a mini when they fought the Froghemoth? Oh, I had the mini. I had this mini. It was bought for that encounter. It just wasn't painted. So I did have it. It just wasn't ready for use. It just wasn't painted. I much prefer to paint the minis I use, but sometimes you just don't have the time. Or there's no mini. You know, there's not. I wish WizKids had minis for everything. That would be awesome, but they just don't. My buddy Ian is printing out the Ancient Red Dragon. He's 3D printing it. It is bigger than my screen. And why is this phone not charging? Can you guys still see? Okay. Oh, I got you. Okay. But my phone should be charging and it's not. So I'm going to hurry up and do the dark stone. Where's my dark stone? So, dark stone. I use dark stone for all my bases. I just like the color. And it's a nice gray. I didn't shake it up enough. Still kind of separated. I'm hoping to get this first coat done before I have to turn off the phone. I am sorry about that. I don't know why my phone isn't charging. It is supposed to be charging. So now we just go around and I hit the base. Trying not to paint over the frog. If you do, it's okay, because it can just be a little piece that's hidden by a stone, right? So happy little accidents. Painting the base can be a pain sometimes, because especially on these larger minis where they have tendrils or they have gaps that you have to try and get without removing the paint that you just did. Oh, kicking the camera does not help. Sorry about the motion there. So I don't have a lot of space in this room. So as before, you just try to stay straight. Don't mess up any of the lines. You can always switch to smaller brushes. Smaller brushes help you stay better detail-wise. So, to get in this big spot here, you just kind of rub your brush back and forth to make sure you get enough paint on there. And paint the gap. Go slow, take your time, no rush. You don't have to do a mini in one day. You can let it sit, let it fully dry before you put a second coat on. I do recommend letting it sit for at least a day if you have to prime a mini. Let it sit for at least a day before you do the washes. Let it sit for a couple of hours after you do the washes before you do the dry rub. That's where you do the highlights. You don't want to be highlighting something with a little bit lighter color and have the darker color, darker wash get spread around. So you just work your way around the mini. Oh, I got some light green I need to do right there. as I said, as you turn the mini and you start looking, you start to find gaps. You start to find places you missed. Easy enough to go back and fix. Like, see, I gotta do some green on that toe right there. Now I just gotta get in here. Oh, yep, missed a lot on the dark green here. I gotta come back and get. It's really hard to see because of the shadows for you guys, but there is a big spot that I missed of the dark green for a leg. But I think that's the base. Oh. See, turning. Always turning the mini. Trying to find those little spots where you gotta reach in and hit it with some paint. Sometimes you just gotta come across and go through. Not always ideal. So while I have this here, I'm gonna try and get the dark green again because I know where the spot is I missed. So I can come back here and hit that. And I gotta get some light green. Which I know it's really hard for you guys to tell, but there is some light green I missed. Coming up from the belly here. Oh, big old gray spot. I hit the mini with the dark stone, and it darkened up right there. Oh, I need dark green. I know my phone is dying, and I don't understand why. Gotta get some more dark green. You see a big old spot I missed? How long has this been going on? This has been going on for an hour and a half. I think after we get this first coat done, we'll call it a day for right now. Let me finish up this first coat. So, because I know where there are spots I missed on the mini. I missed some stuff under the belly here. I got some lighter color. I want to lighter color accidentally done on some spots here, so I want to go back and fill them in before the paint dries. Oh, missed another spot over here. Okay, always going back, always finding more stuff. The more you turn the mini, the more you will see the spots that you need to fix. So, what I'll do is we will wrap up here with this first coat, and then I will figure out another time to when we will come back and finish the mini, or at least do a second coat. So I don't like that. There we go. So now that the paint is drying, I'm starting to see the gap, the spots I missed or didn't put enough paint on are really starting to come through. I'm going to hit the back of this Froghemoth really quick with a second coat, just because it was really splotchy back there. And that's where we had the first paint color that we did not like. So I just want to hit this with nice smooth strokes. When you do your second coat, you want to be more deliberate and steady with your brush. You don't want to have a lot of the brush strokes. So you go slow. Just want to encase that back where the other color was needs a third coat. I want to put a second coat quickly on it now. Already, I'm very happy with this. There's only a couple spots that have to be touched up. I don't think I missed anything else now. I want to paint that dark. I want to have that in kind of at a, have that kind of blend in there. Well, little light right there. I don't want that left side. There we go. A little bit more. And there we go. That is the first. Oh, wow. Hang on a second. I want that to be dark. So I'm finding some spots that I did overlap a little bit. I want to paint now because I'll forget there when we come back next time. But my battery's almost dead for that, so let me just hit that line right there. All right, so I'll put the pupils in the eyes will go in last, because if I have to repaint anything, I don't want to have to repaint the black, especially because chances are I'll do the pupils right the first time and won't be able to do it right again. So there we go so far. I know it needs a second coat, but you got a Froghemoth. I don't know which camera is better for you guys. This one probably, right? So we got nice mouth. We got the eyes. We got tendrils on stone. So we'll let that sit there and dry. Let me see what the chat's saying here. Wow, this looks great so far. Thank you, Heathen. You roll back. Great stream, Rich. Gonna head out and grab mine up before my stream later. Good luck, Wobble. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. You guys make sure you hit that like button. Absolutely. Like, subscribe. See you later, Wobble. See you tonight, Wobble. So, hopefully everybody enjoyed that. We're gonna call this a stream. Like I said, we will come back and finish the Froghemoth at another time. Hopefully you loved it. Hopefully you liked it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, please. I appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, even if you only came in for a couple of minutes. I know a stream can be long and watching somebody paint can be boring, but if Bob Ross can do it for decades, I'm hoping this is something that people will be interested in watching, even though I'm not a professional. Bye, Lydia. Thank you. Bye, Heathen. Bye, Wobble. I don't know who else is still here, but I just want to say thank you all. As always, like and subscribe. Love each other. Be nice to each other and accept each other. It's all we can do. That was great. Thank you, Heathen. All right, I'll talk to everybody later. Like I said, description will have anything from my partners, etc. Thank you all. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.